Virgin Voyages Valiant Lady, this is the December 15th sailing recap and review. After every sailing I'm on, I'm sharing with you what's good, what's changed, what was not so good, and let's hear from both the sailors and the happenings cast about this sailing. And if you watch my channel, you know I was on this ship less than a month ago and things are different. And not only that, it is night and day different than my last sailing last week on Resilient Lady. All of this and more coming up. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Christine Lozada with Where in the World is TL. I love Virgin Voyages. I want you to be a smart traveler and book with us. And I also want you to join us in the Facebook group and be aware of all of the sailings I'm on. I just announced 8 of them and we're giving one away. Oh, there's so much in the description. Don't be that guy that misses the helpful info that's in there, because most people do. Let's kick it off with understanding what is this sailing. We are on Dominican Daze. This is a 5-night sailing with 2 days at sea, 1 day at Puerto Plata, Dominican Republic, and 1 very beautiful day in the latter half of the day at Bimini, Bahamas. We have 2,453 sailors on board. This is a relatively full sailing, and y'all brought the energy. It was so much fun, especially at, well, I guess all the parties. But things kicked off real hard at the sail away party. That was a ton of fun, especially a ton of fun meeting you all. But in a standard sea terrace room, you can expect to pay about this much for the sailing that we're on right now, but obviously a much better deal and sailor loot and more if you booked with us. One of the things that can affect the vibe of a sailing, sometimes, not all the time, is the weather. We got really lucky because our sail away party did happen outside. It kind of sprinkled here and there, but for the actual sail away, it stayed really nice. So we had a really beautiful and really fun sail away party. But as soon as we set sail, I could feel it immediately. The seas were pretty rocky. You can kind of tell from this footage that my camera is rocking around a little bit, but I immediately put motion sickness patches on. Not everyone is affected by that, but one helpful thing to know is if you go downstairs to the 4th floor, they do have a vending machine that has some seasickness medicine if you need that. But what that meant as we got weather as we sailed away was the pajama party was not held outside. And it's just a different vibe when it's held in the manner. It can still be really fun. It's just that this is the first night and generally everyone will turn up to this. And so it was just a lot of people in there and it was hot. But it was still fun to have everyone at the PJ party on the first night, and we had this theme of the holiday sailing. So we still had the ugly Christmas sweater theme going, and that was a fun thing to see everyone all dressed up. We'll talk more about the parties at the end of this video, but let's jump to understanding what entertainment was on board. The lineup of entertainment on board Valiant included Dual Reality, which is an acrobatic show. We had the Misbehave show, which is always different based off of who the host, hostess, and assistant are, plus how rowdy the crowd is and how they get into it. And we also had It's a Ship show with a different lineup of the entertainment that was in it. We also had bingo and Around the World with the Diva, untitled dance show party thing. And people always ask me, aren't you bored of the same entertainment? Things change up all the time. On the festival stage on my November sailing was one of my favorite magicians, which is Ben Price. He got off board, and on this sailing we had Sean Finnerty, who is a comedian. I had some really nice laughs at his show. We also had a ton of musicians on board, a lot of the same ones that I saw last time in November, but again, these are the types of performances that change over with frequency. One thing that I'm excited about that's going to be different when I'm on board next month in January is It's a Ship show is going to have a new cast in it. One of my favorite previous Happenings cast members is going to be in It's a Ship show, so I'm excited to see that in January. And one other change that happened on this sailing, and let's talk about the holiday theme. One thing I'm so excited about is a show that's happening on this specific sailing, which is
the Happy Holidays with the Hostess and Friends,
which I'm so excited for because I've never seen it before. And tell me, what can I expect at the holiday show?
On the Valiant Lady, you can expect a few different surprises. It's a lot of singing and a lot of singing along with Michi the hostess, myself, and then a couple other influencers that will be dancing. Ray the Spark, Jarissa the Flare.
I'm so excited for this. Thank you.
Thank you for stopping by.
This is one that I didn't get to see on Resilient last week because there were technical difficulties. So it's my first time experiencing this show with Michi the hostess. That was really fun, but also fun with the holiday theme was, again, each of the restaurants has one special holiday menu. And it's hard to eat all of the things. I mean, it's a great problem to have. But on this sailing, I got to try more of the holiday menu because I didn't even really try any of it on my last sailing. The rack of lamb was really delicious, served with a little bit of cranberry at extra virgin. That was fantastic. Here's something new and different that we saw on this sailing that I haven't seen in other sailings, and is actually something that's really cool because you only normally see this as the secret show on Virgin Voyages. And if you're like, there's secret shows, that's a whole other story. But the charmer on this sailing, Nimai, was amazing. And he did something that I haven't seen on other Virgin Voyage sailings. And that's a show that was put on by him that was 45 minutes long, happening in the middle of the day and at On the Rocks. So it's a magic show that, again, normally you would see as a secret show, but done in front of everybody in a space that's not that easy to do a magic show. And to be honest, he slayed. I was laughing so hard, I was crying. And the people next to me were also dying. He involved the crowd a lot and just put on a truly magical magic show that was really, really funny. So props to him. This is something that has happened on my previous, if you watch the 11, 22, 24 sailing, he was doing this there as well. But one thing I always tell people is it's difficult to see all of the things that are happening around the ship at the same time. While he was performing, there were like 4 other shows happening at the same time, other events, DJ at the pool, the holiday show with the Happenings cast, etc., etc. So you have to choose. I didn't get a chance to see him on my last sailing, and I'm really glad I did on this one. Will there be a show like this on your specific sailing? It all depends. One thing I always say is Virgin Voyages will always play to the strengths of who is on board, what Happenings cast, what entertainment, etc. And they will create a lineup based off of what kind of talent is on your sailing. So will you see him? Maybe, maybe not. It depends. But if you do, oh, it's so good. Here's a change that I was very excited to see, and it's something I noticed on my last sailing also, and that's around bottomless brunch. There's always been the option to have a selection of drinks under bottomless brunch, and again, brunch is at the Wake and Razzle Dazzle. But new is this option for unlimited Moet. So if you're choosing to indulge in this fantastic option, I have 2 things that I want you to know. The first one is I want you to maximize your fun. And that means being aware of the restaurant hours. And so the hours can vary based off of whether you're at port or at sea, just by a little bit. And so just be aware of that and make sure you're not going, for example, at 12:45 p.m. when at the Wake today, for example, while we're at port in the Dominican Republic, the bar will close at 1:15 p.m. because 30 minutes is not very long to be able to enjoy a bottomless brunch. And the next thing to know is that it's not like the sail away party. So with the sail away party, depending on how big your hands are, you can double fist, triple fist. I saw someone holding 4 glasses of bubbly in each of their hands. That was
impressive.
But unlike the sail away party, here at Bottomless Brunch, they will not give you multiple glasses at once. It's one at a time. So drink that drink, then your next drink will come. So you can't, for example, at 1:14 p.m. today, just load up on it. I mean, that would have been nice, but anyway, just know that that's how it works. Let's talk about some other changes, and this can vary based off of the weather on your sailing. I have had sailings where the order in which we are going to the different ports changed because Virgin Voyages is trying to do a good job of chasing good weather.
I could describe the wind in one word.
This is protected. Within my mouth.
Raging. Not good raging. Bad raging.
And so on the sailing right before this one on Valiant Lady, they didn't even make it over to Bimini, Bahamas because the weather was not allowing them to go there. We were lucky and we got a latter half of a nice day at Bimini, Bahamas. For those who went to the beach club early, there was no power at 11:30 in the morning. And it wasn't until later that the power came back on and they were able to do the float on pool party, which is something you should never miss. That party is very short, but it is a very fun time, and I had a great time at the float on pool party. So it's just helpful to know that it's important to keep that open mindset in all things Virgin Voyages, but just being able to go with the flow as it pertains to what's happening weather-wise and what might happen at port. Let's talk about one more kind of change or observation I had on this sailing, and don't forget, we're going to hear from sailors as well as happenings cast later in this video, and then let's also talk about the parties. One thing I noticed on this sailing, and it might be because of the time of year since we're close to the holidays, is that there were a lot of families on board. One thing that's fun and new and changing is the launch of a mini series about Virgin Voyages on my podcast. So I am bringing in stories of sailors in this season, but stay tuned for all kinds of helpful tips. You guys know I love to deliver the helpful tips, which, by the way, if you're getting some value, cheers that like button, consider subscribing. Don't forget to be a smart traveler, and don't forget to check the info in the description. Facebook group, Amazon curated list of Virgin Voyages items, a printable guide, a free pack list. There's so many things in there. I am here for you, literally every step of the way. But I noticed there were a lot of families on board, which means I got to hang out with some younger sailors. Tommy, Alexander, shout out to you guys. 18 and 21 years old. Yes, Virgin Voyages means adults 18 and up, not 21 and up. So it was really fun to hang out with those two and their parents all around the ship. Let's talk about the parties. And actually, here's one more change. I had so much fun at Scarlet Night. I've lost my voice. I've consumed half of this. The items, here's a change. The items at the stores on High Street, there's a necessities store down there, and I think they're listening to us because they've changed the prices. This lovely item cost me $6.99. I mean, last year I bought a razor that was like a single-use razor for like $17. I was like, oh, here's my right arm and my left leg. I think they've listened to us and they've reduced the prices. Let's talk about the parties on this sailing, which a big highlight for me were the DJs on board. We had two really phenomenal DJs, one of which, shout out to you. I've seen him on board a bunch of times. He always brings a really fantastic time, and we had a really great Scarlet Night. I was a little bit worried about the weather, but it held up, and having a Scarlet Night in which there is a pool party can make a really big difference in terms of what kind of energy and what kind of party that night is. Getting into the pool is totally optional. I realized that a lot of people on this sailing didn't realize that people go into the pool. I definitely lost my voice as a result of having way too much fun that night, but that was fantastic and something that is new. Virgin Voyages, again, is listening. When I first started sailing with them, you could not get any hip hop on this ship. It was strictly club music, EDM, electronic, etc., etc. And now they have a hip hop themed after party, Scarlet Night after party in the Manor. I kept trying to leave. We had Heartbeat on this sailing, and if you're like, oh, these are the same parties all the time. No, they're not. When I was on board earlier this year on this exact itinerary, there, again, Virgin Voyages plays to the strengths of who's on board, and at that time, they had Plan V on board, and instead of there being a party, they had like a concert rock show in the Manor, which was really fun to sing and dance along. But again, it just varies based on who is on board. It means I get different experiences all the time. Heartbeat was fantastic. You can see I'm dressed now for Circus Disco tonight. I'm really excited for that one. One thing most people miss is that beginning section of the people from Dual Reality coming in to show you some circus and acrobatic stuff before the party starts. So this was my last sailing in 2024. At least I think so. I booked this sailing 2 days before I departed. But it was a fantastic one with the holiday sailing. It was also fun to see the holiday grog walk and just all of the decor on board. When I come back in January, it will be a totally different type of sailing. Stay tuned for that, and let's bring in some of the sailors on board. And don't forget, if you were on this sailing especially, I want to hear from you. Tell me if you're sailing again soon, and tell me what your experience was like in the comments below. We're all a community. I learn new things all the time from you guys, and I love it. I love meeting you, and I appreciate you all so much. All right, sailors and happenings cast, let's bring them in.
I am currently at the Solo Sailor Meetup, and it is a gorgeous day today, and I am here with
Kimberly.
And Kimberly's coming in from somewhere a little bit cold. Where are you coming in from?
Freezing cold, Seattle. Raining sideways. It's way too cold.
And this is your first Virgin
Yeah,
Voyage.
I'm a virgin.
Putting you on the spot now.
Yeah.
What are you most excited for?
The spa in the sun. Yes. The spa and the sunshine.
I'm so excited for it. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
One of my favorite things is even if you're not traveling alone, come to the Solo Sailor meetup. I'm here with, what's your name?
Mandy,
And Mandy, who are you traveling with on this voyage?
I'm traveling with my family, my sisters.
But you still decided to come to the Solo Sailor meetup. Why?
I did because I'm a social bird, so I just love and enjoy socializing, especially wonderful to meet this lovely lady.
Thank you. I'm so excited to hang out with you on this sailing.
One pro tip you have for brand new sailors.
Yes, so we also have, the lineup comes on the app, but we also have a printed lineup that you can find at Grounds Club, Sailor Services, and that'll have all the events where we'll be at that we can help you with any of your questions, any of your needs throughout your voyage. I think the Happenings cast is something that people don't always rely on, but they could and should.
I totally agree. I always recommend to people that you should meet them straight away because if you have questions, I mean, there's really nothing you can't answer.
Right.
And that's a great one because how much do we love the app? We are in the social club and I'm so excited for you to meet a couple people that I'm here with. What are your names and where are you from?
I'm Jerome, and I'm originally from LA.
Sarah, Denver, Colorado in the house.
Yes, and they are eating the social club food right now. Tell me, what did you order, Jerome?
We ordered the chicken wings and a hot dog.
Chicken wings and a hot dog. Did you consider the vegan dog? Yeah. Do not recommend to a friend. I have tried this before, just for funsies. Do not recommend unless you are actually a vegan. Sarah, tell me, what did you do today at Dominican Republic?
Oh, today we did an ATV tour on the Dominican Republic. It was a tour of the city to kick things off. Rocky Mountain Road, an hour up the mountain. It was quite bumpy.
And maybe the most important question is, would you recommend it?
Absolutely, 100% recommend. The people are amazing and it's just what a lovely country.
I just huffed and puffed up the stairs. I am sweaty AF, but I am in the galley with someone who might know a little bit of something about something.
Hi.
Please introduce yourself. Who are you?
Hi, I'm Rhea the Spar.
Yes, and I asked her, what's one tip you have for brand new sailors?
Yes, okay, so eat at Extra Virgin. It's like my favorite restaurant on the ship.
Favorite dish at Extra Virgin?
Oh, yeah. It's the truffle gnocchi. It's phenomenal. Get that and get the steak and put the steak in the truffle gnocchi.
That is an expert tip.
Yeah, and then get the avocado at the end.
Oh, yes, that was a fire tip. Thank you.
Yes, so good.
Oh.
So good.
I'm so sweaty right now. I'm like